It's Magic Marketing Monday. Here's your host, business coach and cutting-edge marketer, Brad Ross.
Hey everybody, I am Brad Ross and welcome to this week's episode of Magic Marketing Monday. On today's episode, we're talking about the lowdown on top-down marketing. Hold on to your top hats, guys. I'm about to reveal a dynamic new strategy that will help you book a lot more shows. If you're a trade show worker, a school show performer, a corporate entertainer, what you're about to discover can make a huge difference in your income. As you know, I am a big fan of direct mail marketing, as well as direct marketing in general. But one of the big problems in direct mail marketing is knowing who to mail to. Of course, we've all been there. You need to make sure that you mail to the correct decision maker, or your mailing is going to be wasted. Sometimes, let's be honest, it's tough to find out that person, right? Let's use booking school assemblies as an example. At some schools, the principal is in charge of assemblies. At some schools, the counselor is in charge, while at other schools, it's the PTA president who books those programs, or even the librarian. Mail to the wrong person, and you're dead in the water. You've just wasted a lot of time, and worse, a lot of money mailing, and you don't have a return on your investment. So this is where most magicians and entertainers stop. They say, oh, direct mail marketing, that doesn't work, that's old-fashioned. I'm just gonna put up a website and wait for people to come and show up and book me. No, doesn't happen like that. In fact, if you're not using direct mail marketing today, you're missing out. Because when all your competition is sending emails that are not getting read because everyone is inundated with emails, the smart entertainer is mailing because there is less clutter in the mailboxes, the physical snail mailboxes today, than there is in people's email boxes. So let's go back to the problem at hand. What happens when you don't know who to mail to? Well, I've got some good news. That problem has been solved by my pyramid of power marketing strategy. Here's how it works. You are going to mail, and I can't believe I'm revealing this on Magic Marketing Monday, but it's so good. Wait till you hear. You are going to mail to the same letter, the exact same letter. You're going to mail it to at least 3 people at the same company or school at the same time. All right, I already hear the groans sitting there saying, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? In a minute, I'll explain why this is so powerful. But first, I want to discuss the details step by step, so stay with me on this. Number 1, decide what show you are trying to sell. Do not be a magician for all occasions and try this tactic. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Decide what show you are trying to sell. It is really important that you are marketing a specific show for this strategy to work most effectively, as opposed to just generating a lead that you could potentially sell a lot of things to. So, in specific example, try selling a Say No to Drugs program during Red Ribbon Week, or try to get booked at a specific trade show. That's going to be much more effective than just sending a letter to simply let someone know they can request more information about your services or they should call you. Number 2. Make an educated guess as to whom you think is the person in charge of organizing the event. This is fairly easy, and even if you're not exactly right, it doesn't matter, because you'll soon see why. For example, if you're booking a trade show, usually the vice president of marketing or sales is the one that's going to be in charge. However, if you're booking a corporate party or a corporate meeting, the company's meeting planner, office manager, or even their human resource director is probably going to be the one that's in charge. Number 3. After you've decided who you think is in charge, find out the names of 2 people, 2 levels above the person on the decision-making totem pole. Let's use the corporate trade show example again, and let's assume that you've guessed it's the sales manager in charge of planning the trade show. Well, we want to get the names of 2 people higher up on the corporate ladder. Let's say the vice president of sales, sales and marketing, and the company president. Number 4, you mail sales letters to these 3 people, or postcards, or whatever it is that you're mailing to them, but you mail the same piece to these 3 people. These letters, again in this example, are all the same except for the salutation and the first sentence. You, of course, write something like, "Dear," whatever the guy's name is, but then in the first sentence, you say, "I'm writing to you," the name of the person who else is on the totem pole and the name of the other person on the totem pole. I'm writing to you, Bob, if I'm saying Dear Bob, or Dear Mr. Let's be formal. Dear Mr. Stevens, I'm writing to you, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Tallywag, or whatever, about how you can, and then you include a strong statement of benefit, how you can increase traffic to your trade show booth at the upcoming ABC trade show this coming January. Now, this strategy is extremely powerful for a few different reasons. The first and foremost is the obvious reason, is that you are almost guaranteed to get your letter into the hands of the real decision maker, whoever it is, by mailing to 3 people in the organization, including someone who you have a real solid hunch is, but then you have 2 more chances. That's increasing your overall odds that it's going to get into the hands of the right person. But what makes this pyramid of power marketing strategy so dynamic? Well, what makes it so dynamic is that it exerts a tremendous amount of psychological pressure on the decision maker. Let's go back to the trade show example and use that as our illustration. Mr. Sales Manager gets a letter from you about how he can increase traffic, leads, and sales at his trade show booth. Well, normally he might just chuck your letter in the trash, but in this case, he sees that you have also written to 2 other people who are in higher positions of power than him. He thinks, well, what if I don't at least check this out further? One of my bosses might think it's a good idea. He'll wonder, why didn't I follow through? If one of my bosses does think it's a good idea and I didn't follow through, then I'm really going to be up you-know-what creek without a paddle. I better at least get some more information. Now, let's look at the next guy. Mr. Vice President of Sales and Marketing also has similar thoughts when he gets your letter. I'm not sure about this idea, but what if Mr. Sales Manager follows through and brings the idea up to my boss before I do? That SOB has been gunning for my job for a long time. I better at least check this out. Now, the ideal situation is when Mr. President gets your letter and likes your idea, which has happened to me in the past. Sometimes the gatekeepers, the people underneath the main decision maker, are the hardest ones to get through, but it's the head, the owner of the company, the head of the corporation, the owner of the venue, in the cases of performing arts centers, theaters, hotels, etc. Sometimes they love the idea, and if you can get to them directly, you won the game already. So Mr. President gets your letter. He likes the idea. He's going to either funnel the information down to the decision maker, which is guaranteed that it's going to be acted upon because it's coming as a direct order from Mr. President, or he will be very receptive to the idea when one or both of the other people at the company present it to him. By following this strategy, you create a lot of activity at the organization that you're targeting. You're getting 3 people in a position of power thinking and acting on this idea. This obviously will produce spectacular results. Now, this is not something that's based on theory. I've used these techniques. In fact, I was trying to work with a particular production company to hire me because they did some very nice high-end events. Well, 2 years ago was when I started contacting them, and I used this strategy. I sent the same information to the president of the production company, the owner of it. I also sent information to people that were listed underneath him, information I found on their website. And I told them that I told all the people that I contacted. I think I actually even contacted 4 people, and I sent them all promo kits. I sent them all letters. I sent them all emails. I used the same tactic, and I got responses from all of them. There was a buzz around the office about me. I even did it around the holiday times, and I made sure to follow up with them and send a little holiday card to each one of them and send one of my signature holiday gifts. That particular year, it was customized M&Ms with my logo and face, and I got responses back from everyone, including the president of that production company, who told me they loved eating the Brad Ross M&Ms, making a huge impact on these people. Now, once again, this is a strategy that's not just for a trade show performer. As I said, you could do this in schools. You could do this for any market. I used it for a production company and had enormous results, and I've used it in the corporate market. I've used it in the school show market. It works equally well as a school performer if that's your area. In this case, you would mail to the principal, the PTA president, and the school counselor. One of those 3 people is going to be the decision maker, or at least is going to be able to speak to the decision maker about your proposal. You can't ask for more than that. Now, there are a couple questions that people have when I share this strategy with them. Again, this is something I've previously only shared with private coaching clients. The 2 questions that always come up are these. Number 1. Isn't mailing to 3 people at the same company or at the same school expensive? No, because you are carefully targeting who you are mailing to. You're not doing a mass mailing of 5,000 companies or 3,000 schools. Remember that this strategy works best when you focus in on a specific event. Again, a trade show is a perfect example. You know when the trade show is. You know where it's being held. You know the industry it's for. You create a list of prospects, maybe 20, 25, 30, 40, even 50 of the top companies in that industry, and you mail just to them. And the second question that comes up all the time when I share this strategy is, where do you find the names of people to mail to? This is going to surprise you. It's so top secret, but there is a building that you can go to, and you can get this information for free. It's a building that's located in every town, in every state, in the country, probably in the world. It's called the Public Library. Go to your main public library and ask the reference librarian for corporate directories, current corporate directories or industry directories, etc. They have those there, and you can look it up and you can compile your own little list for free. You can look online, check websites out like infousa.com. These will give you a profile of the company, phone numbers, the names of top corporate officers. If the company is, of course, publicly owned, this information is easily obtained through Dun & Bradstreet directories, or you can contact them directly and get a mailing list with all the names that you need. And a wealth of information is also discovered online at the company's website that you're targeting. And yes, this does take a little bit more time to research. Even if you go to the library and use that method, it'll take you a little bit more time to research it and put together a list and format the list into an Excel spreadsheet and yada, yada, yada. Or if money is not an object, you can go and buy a list from, again, a place like InfoUSA. But if money is an object and you need to do this on the cheap to make more money, then do the library method, or just do the research yourself, browsing the websites and finding out who's in charge of what. Again, it will take you more time, but you've got to choose. Do you want to invest money in a list and have it tomorrow, or do you want to spend a couple days and gather the list and be very selective with who you mail to? It's completely up to you. But there are methods to do it cheap and free, and there's methods that's going to cost you a little bit of money, like through a mailing list company. When mailing to schools, don't find out the individual names of people you're mailing to because they change so often. Principals come and go. PTA especially comes and goes. So in those cases, just mail to the titles. The titles of instead, principal, PTA president, school counselor. This makes your job very easy because you don't have to find a specific person. And that is a standard that top school show pros like Joe Romano and Julian Franklin use all the time. In fact, they talked extensively about this at It Factor Live. Test this strategy of my pyramid of power, and I think I know you are going to be really pleased with these results. Give it a try. That is all for this episode of Magic Marketing Monday. Use this tactic. I hope you have a great week ahead. And until next time, this is Brad Ross saying kick butt with your marketing, do what you love, and love what you do.